Yes, because he has a lot to answer for that he could not ever answer up about.
That's another, brings up another topic, is a lot of people question you about David Miscavige in regards to the fact that you've come out about so much and you were so close to him. How come you haven't been able to give up enough information to lead to like an arrest of him or to send him to prison? Like people...
Well, I would love to know the answer to that too. Like, I have talked to every law enforcement agency that I could possibly think of and given them everything and every document and everything that I have, and I continue to do so. Like, it's not from lack of trying, believe me. Okay. It is not from lack of trying. And the difficulty always with any sort of prosecution or even a legal case against Scientology is threefold. One, Scientology will turn it into a nuclear war. And just like, there is a bunch of writings by L. Ron Hubbard about making litigation punitive. And
what does that mean?
Punishing your opponent
okay.
through litigation,
okay.
making everything difficult, like noticing depositions, appealing every hearing, appealing every order, filing crazy stuff to disqualify the lawyers, to disqualify judges, to like anything and everything to make it as expensive and painful as possible for anybody to pursue a legal case against Scientology.
Okay.
It's a scorched earth litigation strategy that has proven very, very effective. Secondly, Scientology has, because of what I was saying to you before, this idea that saving Scientology or preserving Scientology is the most important thing for all of mankind. Mm-hmm. Scientologists will lie. If they believe that saying something would be harmful to Scientology, they won't say it. Mm-hmm. Let me give you an example. When we did the Truth Rundown series with Joe Childs and Tom Tobin at the St. Pete Times, me, Marty Rathbun, Tom DeVock, Jeff Hawkins, a bunch of people spoke to them and said, look, here are the things that have happened. And, part of this is we have witnessed and experienced ourselves on numerous occasions David Miscavige being physically violent with members of the Sea Organization. Those claims were put to Scientology. Like, how do you respond to the fact that this person, this person, this person, this person, this person, this person, they all swear that they have seen this happen?
I mean, you even claimed in the HBO documentary that Miscavige physically assaulted you on numerous occasions, right?
Yeah. And it's I've said it over and over.
Right.
And it absolutely happened. And there's been tons of people that have witnessed it, and I've witnessed it with tons of other people. And
he seems like a little guy. How could he? I mean, I don't think he can do that. How much damage could he do?
Well,
I mean, did you defend yourself?
No, because if you defend yourself, you're attacking him.
Okay. Oh, so if you defend yourself, you're attacking Scientology
and trying to attack David Miscavige, who is Scientology.
He is Scientology,
right?
Yeah.
But at the time, a bunch of the people, like, because Joe and Tom, they're good reporters. They were like very diligent, and they would say, well, tell me who you saw David Miscavige physically assault. Mm-hmm. And so I would say, well, I saw him assault Mark Yeager and Mark Ingber and Wendell Reynolds and Ray Midoff and Norman Starkey, and I would go through the list, and then independently they would go to Marty Rathbun and say, who did you see David Miscavige strike? Oh, I saw him strike Mark Yeager, without me present. And then they would go to Tom DeVock, and he would say exactly the same thing. So they verified that there's no way that you can have people just randomly coming up with these same stories.
Right.
So they wrote, as they always did, to Scientology and said, how do you respond to the fact that we have numerous witnesses that say David Miscavige has struck Mark Yeager, struck Ray Midoff, struck blah, 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 blah. Comes back the answer. This is outrageous. These people are all paid liars. They're this, they're that. And here are 50 affidavits signed by those very people, all saying they have never been struck by David Miscavige. And these things are completely manufactured lies.
Just fabricated.
Totally fabricated. But in their mind, this is saving and protecting Scientology. And this is a problem when prosecuting Scientology or filing a lawsuit is, and particularly in a criminal case, the standard in a criminal case is guilty beyond reasonable doubt. If you can create reasonable doubt, you have to be found not guilty. And reasonable doubt in the mind of a prosecutor, and they're not used to this, 5 people come in and say, this happened, and then Scientology gets wind of it for whatever reason, and they will have 50 or 100 people give signed under penalty of perjury affidavits saying it never happened. And they go, how do we prosecute a case like this? Mm-hmm. And it's sort of the hard thing for prosecutors to understand, to be able to put together a case when they always have to, make decisions about where they're going to invest their resources. What are they going to put their time and effort into?
Yeah.
Are they going to be able to get an actual guilty verdict? And so this is why now, after the exposés in the Tampa Bay Times and going clear, and then subsequently in the aftermath, David Miscavige doesn't appear anywhere anymore.
Right.
Because his weakness is that if he has to testify under oath, he may get people to lie with him, but particularly in a civil case, that may not be good enough. And he can't answer up for certain things. And there are things that he doesn't want to have to answer up to.
Right.
And so he stays out of sight. And, it's some comfort to me that he now has to live the life of a hermit.
Right.
I may be being harassed, and they may say shitty things about me all the time and follow me and do whatever, but I just live my life.
Are you still being harassed to this day?
Absolutely. Well, you just said it yourself. Look up my name, Google my name, and you'll see a bunch of ads from Scientology about how I'm a wife beater. My daughter has a website and she's a Sea Org member, by the way.
Yeah, how fucked up is that situation? Your whole family.
It's crazy. My son, my daughter, my ex-wife, my brother, my sister, all of these people are out there saying, what a horrible person I am, that I'm a wife beater, that I shake babies, that I'm a womanizer, that I'm a this, that I'm a that, like whatever. And again, this is pursuant to the Scientology idea that I'm a bagman for Satan and that destroying me is good for the world. Mm-hmm. And that Hubbard says that anybody who is a critic of Scientology, and he wrote a thing about this that's on my blog, has crimes. They have felonies in their background, and this has been proven over and over. And even if you don't know what the felony is, you can be absolutely safe accusing them of committing felonies, because whether you got the right one or not doesn't matter. So this is how Scientology goes about things. They do...
disconnecting, right?
yeah, that's disconnection. That's like, and that's back to the theory of the bad things happen to you when you're connected to sources of suppression. And sources of suppression is someone like me.
You, yeah.
So my children, my mother, my brother, my sister, all the rest of my family, because if they want to remain Scientologists, they must disconnect from me. And because my daughter and son are both in the Sea Organization, they must carry out whatever they are told to do in order to try and get me dismissed as an attacker.
Have you ever tried reaching out to them? And
Yeah, absolutely. I went one time. My son, at one point, after I had left the Sea Organization, had cancer. And I was unaware of it because nobody communicated to me. And in fact, Joe Childs called me up, the reporter from the St. Pete Times, and said, I just got off the phone with the lawyer for Scientology, and they said, you're such a shitty person that you didn't even try and see your son when he had cancer. I said, he has cancer? He said, yeah, I was afraid of that. You didn't even know. And I said, no, I had no idea. So I drove to the Fort Harrison. I was living in Palm Harbor. I drove to the Fort Harrison. I went to the front door. I said, I want to see my son. I understand he has cancer. I want to see him. They called the police and issued a trespass warning on me and sent a PI out to, with spittle bursting out, get off the property, get off the property. And I was basically escorted from the premises. And that was the second last time. And the last time I had any interaction with my daughter and ex-wife was when they followed me to a doctor's office that's just off Gulf to Bay, where my wife was seeing the doctor and I was standing in the parking lot waiting for her. In fact, talking on the phone at the time with a reporter from the BBC, and my brother from Australia, my ex-wife from LA, my daughter from LA, 4 senior officials of Scientology, and 2 private investigators showed up and started screaming at me. And
Jesus Christ.
It's such a fascinating story because I'm on the phone with the BBC and I said, John, you'll never guess who just showed up here. Guillaume Leserve, Dave Bloomberg, my daughter, Jenny Linson, blah, 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 blah. And then you hear the screaming start. You fucker, you piece of shit, you fucking asshole, blah, 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 blah. And ultimately this resulted in, I tried to leave. I tried to walk. I'd been walking around talking to him on the phone. I tried to get back to my car, and they sought to prevent me from leaving, and then took the keys out of my car and threw them away. And it was like this whole sort of insane thing that's all recorded on audio. Mm-hmm. And in the course of that, my ex-wife got a graze on her arm when she was trying to prevent me from closing the car door.